I want to bring on the man who really made this all happen from day one. He called all of us Long Island hospitality guys and said, folks, I had a battle with cancer, and I want to do something more meaningful in my life than just fill the rooms up and have people at bars and clubs and concerts. I want to give back, and that man is our chairman, Mr. Keith Hart.
Putting together this event is exhausting. Some of my partners say we should do it every other year or whatever, but quickly I'm reminded every year why we do this. My cousin, who's the same age as me, that I played stickball and baseball and went to his weddings, he called me up, he texted me and said, bro, I got bad news. And I said, what? And he said, I have 2 months to 4 months to live. The following week, his sister called me and he passed away. His name is Dixon Shea, and I dedicate this ball to him that cancer doesn't sleep. Cancer doesn't wait any longer, and we have to fight the good fight. This is why we're all here, to raise money for cancer, and I really appreciate you. But right now, I want to introduce the man of the hour, an era of great power, Mr. Alec Baldwin.
Everybody here is not necessarily touched by breast cancer per se, although many people have this. The genesis of my family's relationship to this was my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. Lung cancer killed my dad when he was 55 years old. He died in 1983, 6 children. You know, some of them still young. I was 25 at the time. But my dad had a very aggressive form of lymphoma. And I keep saying to myself, we're gonna have a cure for cancer any day now. Or Brian O'Hay has a really great yacht somewhere in Thailand that we don't know about. Who knows what he's gonna do? Where is he? Where is O'Hay? Where is O'Hay? He's back there. Brian, let's have a round of applause for Dr. O.
When Mike Maffetone was the CEO at Stony Brook, and he, along with Carol and the family members, put together this fund and thought that they would raise money for breast cancer research some 20 plus years ago. So I thank her and the family for their vision and their leadership to start this cause and to have it continued some 20 years later. So it really is fantastic. And thinking about it, I really should thank you all on behalf of our breast cancer patients. I really thank you on behalf of our patients, because it's the patients that benefit the most from what you guys do. It's the patients directly that benefit. You heard recently about how some new breakthroughs and some stronger, more potent, less toxic medicines, oral medicines, means that many women don't need chemotherapy anymore. That was a huge advance for them. So on behalf of my breast cancer patients, we thank you very much for supporting research. Research leads to discoveries, and discoveries save lives. So thank you very much for what you're doing.
That means my brother Stephen's coming. Stephen. That's the beaver from Jesus. We owe a tremendous debt of gratitude over the years to Crest Hollow Country Club for them allowing us to have this event here. Please help me welcome the CEO, Richard Monty.
10 years later, Janine was our Director of Sales and Marketing. And when she came to the helm of that, she took it to the next level. So on that note, I will introduce you to the Long Island Hospitality.
It is a privilege, Richard Monty, to manage your team and to represent this landmark that your dad built. Which brings me to why we're here tonight. Tonight is about raising money for breast cancer. It's about Carol Baldwin and the Baldwin family, who took a devastating diagnosis and turned it into a blessing for thousands of cancer patients. And it's no coincidence that we have the Baldwins, the Montes, and the Saladinos in this room tonight, all dedicating their lives to finding a cure for cancer. And I'm so proud. And now for the ladies in the room. How often do you hear men complain about how long it takes us to get ready? Well, we are ready. Gender equality is as close as Woodbury and reaches as far as Saudi Arabia. To borrow a quote, here's to strong women. May we be them, may we know them, may we raise them.
I know everybody in this room, they announced his title before. He's the EVP and GM of the New York market for Southern Glacier Wine and Spirits. Marty manages a multi-billion-dollar company. But if you ever sat and talked to Marty, the most important thing to him is people. He's a mentor to many, but most important to me, he's my friend. I'm proud to announce Marty Crane, this year's honoree. Marty,
I read a stat recently that stated approximately 2 million more people will get cancer in 2018. By the way, breast cancer will be the predominant cancer that people get. Pretty scary. Cancer affects every one of us, like many of you. I have too many family members and friends who fell victim to this terrible monster that looms among us. I do want to tell you one quick story. Garrett wrote it up. I'd like to share a little bit about my mom. About 25 years ago, 3 months before her 63rd birthday, she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. A month after her 63rd, she was gone. She was gone. Too young to leave us, really was. The good news is that was 25 years ago, and it's been mentioned a couple of times, and because of events such as tonight's, many in Flo's situation have a much greater chance of defeating cancer. I know I not only speak for myself, but for Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, along with all of our wine and spirit supplier sponsors, when I say we are grateful to be offered the opportunity, Keith, to be a special part of this incredible fundraising effort.
When I started the magazine in 2005, it was my love letter to Long Island. And knowing that the way to anyone's heart is through the kitchen, the decision to celebrate dining, cocktails, and the nightlife of Long Island was a no-brainer. Since then, it's been an enormously gratifying 13 years building the relationships along the way with many of you in the room, readers, advertisers, friends who have compelled us to do better and be part of this community. You in the hospitality industry see your guests and your friends on the best days of their lives. Their birthdays, their anniversaries, their engagements, their weddings, which goes hand in hand with what we do at Pulse, celebrating the best of Long Island. It's only right and fair and gratifying that we should all get together and help those on the worst days of their lives when they're facing cancer. Thank you all for allowing Pulse to be part of it and supporting and promoting this event and your organization over the last 8 years, and all the great work that you've done. And we look forward to having a good time with you and raising more money and toast in honor of the committee and the organizations that have lent their spirit and their talent along the way.
My brother was a great man who appreciated not only great wine, but great people. And he traveled around the country and around the world sampling the best wines in order to develop and curate wine lists for our best restaurants. But what I'm most proud of, and it's been mentioned throughout, things other people have said, is not only how he, helped people to develop an appreciation for various wines, but the impact that he had on how people felt about themselves. And he was so modest, which is just the classiest thing that I think a person could be, that I didn't realize, embarrassingly, until he passed, how many lives he had changed. Not just businesses, but people who came up to me and said, he did this for me, he did that for me, he mentored me, he was a friend, he cared, and that's really what I'm most proud of. Especially in this industry where the business and the friendships, whether it's the hours or the food or what it is, it's all intertwined. So I just want to ask people to pay it forward, really care more, be nicer and mentor people. It's a tough world, a tough economy, and it's just, I think, the best thing that you could do to have somebody look up to you like that. So, to Gil.
That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night.